Hi guys, Ben here from Mouth of the Tyne. Welcome to a very special Transfer Central tonight. We've got info on Alexander Isak, who's just about to sign for us. He is currently on his way to St James's Park as we speak to do the photo shoot, and we're about to break our Newcastle United club transfer record for £60 million. Let's do this. Let's get into this. Transfer Central from Mouth of the Tyne. Yeah, so big breaking news, guys. Isak is on his way to St James's Park. He landed this morning. I think I was one of the first ones to get the info of the flight. He was due in about 11:30. We had word from, well, we won't say where the news came from, but it was somebody who could give us update on the flight, and he was due in at 11:30. He arrived shortly after that, about 12 o'clock, and he is now currently on his way to St James's Park. He's been to the training ground. I'm sure he was blown away by that. So he's been to the training ground and he's now on his way to St James's for the photo shoot. So it looks like we're going to be signing him. It's going to be a £58 million deal. It looks like it's going to be paid in instalments. So that gets round our limited £40 million budget. If you're a Luke Edwards fan or listen to anything he has to say. We all knew that was nonsense anyway, but you can always get round these things, paying instalments, deferred payments, pay next year, obligations, loans with obligations to buy, stuff like that. So it was never going to be an issue, getting around FFP this window. And it looks like we're doing it, a remarkably good job of it so far. So yeah, he's going to be signing any minute now. 22 years old, Swedish international, 6'4", target man type frame, but much more than that. Can play on the left, on the right, can drift, very much Thierry Henry-esque. If you watch the YouTube clips of him, or if you've seen him already, he can play out wide, he can drift in, he's got a trick in him. I was watching him today and it reminded me of the player that we thought Sammy Amiobi might be. You might laugh at that, but just what I mean by that is tall, but with great feet. And somebody that can take on a man, get past them, drive into the box, and he's either going to cross it or more than likely shoot. Now, this is something that's going to be really interesting because defenders aren't going to know what he's going to do. Is he going to play a creative link-up man, or is he going to take on the mantle of scoring the goal himself? We've seen he can do it all. He's got the pace to get in behind. He's got the hold-up play to hold the ball up and then, do a little roll of his man, getting behind that way, or, a nutmeg and he's away. It's going to be very, very tricky for Premier League defenders, and I can't imagine that they're going to be, thrilled at the prospect of facing him. So, yeah, it's very, very exciting times. Yeah, it looks like the Isak deal possibly went ahead in the end because of the Wilson injury. There's rumours that he's out for 3 to 4 weeks, which isn't a huge time frame, but I think what it's done is it's given the club alarm bells. The owners are probably thinking, we're only 3 weeks into the season and Wilson's already going to be out for 3 or 4 weeks. If this happens again or happens for a longer term, 3 or 4 months, we're screwed. And we would be. Wood doesn't bring the goals, although he scored last night. We saw at the back end of last season that he doesn't bring the goals. He's not as clinical as we'd like him to be, or as Wilson is. And Isak is, and Isak will bring that savvy technical ability in the box when Wilson is injured. They may play together when he's fit, but at the minute, with Wilson being injured yet again, it looks like Isak could be thrown straight in versus Wolves at this stage. So let's see how that pans out. But it probably was going to be done next summer, or maybe in January if we were struggling for 4 goals. But it looks like they've pushed it forward. I mean, there must be alarm bells ringing at the club when we're only 3 weeks into the season and Wilson's already hamstrung with his, his classic reoccurring hamstring injuries. It's not a good sign, and it doesn't bode well for the season ahead. So I think somebody's pressed I don't want to say a panic button, but we'll say the deal button, and the cash has been released by PIF to get Isak in. Now, I think it's a great signing. It's going to be a masterstroke signing, and it's one of our biggest signings yet so far. Probably, definitely our most expensive ever, but definitely up there with Bruno and Botman. Basically, what we tend to be doing is what we seem to be doing is we're signing some of the best young talent in Europe. Bruno's 24, Botman's 22, Isak's 22. I mean, these are players that are excellent standard already, but are going to be improving all the time. And in 4 or 5 years, you could be looking at a crop of players that are up there with the best in the positions in the world. Botman at centre-back has the ability to go all the way to the top with the Netherlands national team. Isak's already starting for Sweden, and Bruno's, playing regularly for Brazil. So in 3 or 4 years, these guys could be, the world-class spine, that we've brought in this first phase of signings that really push us on to maybe win some silverware. So it's an epic signing, and it just shows the direction that the club's going in the minute. We're picking these targets out. We're not afraid to pay the money. Although, we had a few jitters earlier on in the window. Was there going to be money? Was it all talk? And it's being proven yet again. The money is there. We're just choosing who to spend it on and when to spend it. So I'm really excited about this, guys. Let me know in the comments how you feel about Isak. Are you excited too? Have you seen him play? Do you know what qualities he's got? Whether that's live, you've been watching some Sociedad games, or have you been watching YouTube clips of him? Just let me know what your thoughts are on him, but he looks like a hell of a player so far from what we've seen in the last couple of years. I know we saw him on the international stage for Sweden as well at the Euros, and I think a lot of us saw him then and thought, wow, this guy can play for a big lad. He's got the technical feet, the quick feet, the tricks, can shoot with both feet, fast, powerful, great control. I mean, he's already ticking a lot of the boxes, and he's only 22 years old. So I can't wait for this one, guys. Really, really, really excited for it, and I'm sure you guys are too. So yeah, let's take a look at some of the other transfer news we've got for you today. Yeah, so I said the other night that Pedro was all scheduled in for the medical today. That info may have been slightly off. I think not many of us saw the Isak deal coming, although I did mention it, and I'll show you the little tweet here where I did get wind of it 2 weeks ago. I'd heard about it from 2 people, didn't know whether to post it. I did. Everybody seemed to be receptive of it. Yeah, it'd be a great signing, but it won't happen. And in reality, it did happen 2 weeks later. So that was the info. The info I got 2 weeks ago was that Isak was on the list, and they were going to make a late move for it. Like I say, I put the tweet out there a couple of weeks ago, and lo and behold, the info was correct. All I can say is regarding the Pedro info I got earlier in the week, the person who gave it to me seemed to think that the medical that was booked in for today was for Pedro, because we had not had the Isak update at that point. So I can only assume that, they may have jumped the gun slightly on that one and seen, somebody's seen the medical booked in. Oh, it must be for Pedro, when in reality, it was actually for Isak. So that's kind of where we are on that one. May have jumped the gun slightly regarding, the Pedro medical, but it was booked in. There was a medical booked in for today, and as we've seen, it was Isak. So I think Pedro will still happen. There seems to be something holding up behind the scenes, whether it's the structure of the deal or something else. I'm not sure, but personally, I feel like it will go ahead. I don't think Isak has been signed as an alternative to Pedro. I think Pedro is using the Ekitike money for a young attacking, wide player that can drift in and maybe chip in with some goals. Whereas Isak's going to be more of the, the out and out striker that we're looking to sign to cover for Wilson. So I think both deals are valid at this point in time, and I'm expecting news on Pedro in the next, couple of days, saying that all systems go. I'd be shocked if that's not the case. But yeah, let's see how that one pans out. Still really want the guy here. He looks very talented, and it's something we're going to have to just keep an eye on over the next couple of days, because it does seem to be some kind of hold up, although the evident interest hasn't amounted to anything, and I do believe he's still on the verge of signing for us. So yeah, let's keep our eyes peeled on that one, and we'll see how it goes. Yeah, and the news we all didn't want to hear. I know he's a big fan favourite of ours, considering he doesn't play for our club, but Paqueta, it looks like Paqueta is going to West Ham at the minute. They've just had another bid put in for him after the first one was rejected. This one's going to be around, I think it was 58 million for him, 57 million, something like that in pounds. So in euros. So let's see how that one, see if it comes off for them. But it looks like they really want him, and like I've been saying, it always appears that our main target in the attacking midfield position was going to be Maddison, and that leads us on to Brendan Rodgers' interesting quotes from today in his presser. basically saying that Maddison isn't included in the squad. He's injured at the minute. He hasn't been training. And that to me is very, very interesting. This is a guy that's been linked strongly with the move to Newcastle as our first choice attacking midfielder this window. And lo and behold, as we get to the final few days of the window, he's magically injured. Now, the same way Pedro was injured, it makes you wonder that, obviously, we had Martin Dubravka last night as well, ill. Everybody knew he wasn't ill. I mean, when has Dubravka ever been ill for a game? It just, the chances of it occurring on the same night that he's linked with Manchester United are just, 0 to none. So yeah, it's obviously what's going on here. I think Maddison's been protected. Leicester still haven't made any signings, and they need to sell. They need to sell in the next couple of days to get some money to either buy this summer or even just keep the money for January, because it looks like the owners are actually wanting to sell, which is sell the club, which is obviously something else that's going to have to be taken into consideration. That rumour came out earlier in the week that Leicester owners were looking to sell up, and we know what owners don't do when they're looking to sell. We saw it with Mike Ashley; they don't spend. So I wouldn't be surprised if they want to, cut their losses, take what they can, and they've pushed hard for the Champions League in recent years, and it hasn't come off. So there must be debts there. There has to be for the spending that they've made in the previous couple of years before they kind of slowed down. So is Brendan Rodgers telling the truth? Let me know in the comments what you think. I know what I think. I don't think he is. I think there's a high possibility that we're in talks with Maddison still, and he might be the number one attacking marquee midfield signing of the summer for Newcastle United. No guarantees, but he's on the list. And like I say, the chances of your top player being injured on the very eve of the transfer window closing, it stinks. Something smells off about it, and it would not surprise me in the slightest in the next 24 to 48 hours if there's news breaking of a bid accepted for Maddison. So let's keep our eyes on that one. It could happen. That we've proved that the money's there. There's 60 million going in on Isak. Is there another 50, 60 million for Maddison? Sign them, and you've got two players that's, you're not going to have to buy in that position for the next few windows. You're going to have two starters for, many, 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 many years to come. So it's not money going to be, just chucked away. Both of them are investments. Maddison's only 25, so he's still very young too. He's got his best years ahead of him. So yeah, keep an eye on that one, and I'm sure, I've followed footy for a long time. That's my phrase, what I always say when something's off. And this one, it looks like, in my opinion, that there could be something in the pipeline for Maddison and NUFC, but no confirmation on that one yet. But just a theory of mine with Rodgers' comments today. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Yeah, just a final bit of news I want to touch on tonight before we leave you. Obviously the Kraft injury. It's kind of left us a little bit short at right back. Are we going to use Manquillo in the right back slot? Are we going to buy someone else to cover for Trippier when Trippier is injured? It's a little bit of a dilemma. Personally, I don't think Manquillo's good enough. I don't know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments. Do you think Manquillo is a capable understudy for Trippier? Or do you think Kraft will be a big miss and we've got to replace him with the signing while the window's still open? I know what I'd do. I'd buy someone else, maybe a good young up-and-coming right back, somebody with quality to maybe the long-term successor for Trippier, and just push that deal forward a bit, rather than wait till next summer or something like that. Just bring it forward now. We have to cover these positions what we're injured in. Same as the Shelvey injury. Are we going to bring in a defensive midfielder to cover him sitting at the base of the team? It's something that we've still got time to rectify this. These injuries, what happened before the window closes, are injuries that can be rectified with signings. So that's another point that I just wanted to touch on before we leave you. And we'll see what happens in the next few days, because it's all going to kick off, guys. We've got a few days left. I think it's like 6 or 7 days left of the window. We've got about a week of it to go. And obviously Newcastle United are very active in the transfer market, and we may even have a few more surprises up our sleeves yet. So thanks very much for joining me, guys. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow night for the live show with Andy Sixsmith. It's the first live show. We're going to do a chat about the transfer window so far, where we've been, where we're going, and people's thoughts on that. So stay tuned, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you like the video and like the content, and we'll give you some more updates very, very soon. That's Ben from Mouth of the Tyne. Thank you very much, guys. Take care.